More about this. Thanks for your time tonight.
Well, thanks for having me, Renata.
So this is more complicated than it actually seems. What do jurors need to agree on to determine guilt on each count?
So it is complicated, but we got some clarity during today's jury instructions with John, Juan, Rashawn, and made three very important rulings. The first, there doesn't appear to be any possibility of the jurors returning guilty verdicts on misdemeanors, which would be a lesser included offense. What does that mean? Under New York law, if business records are false, they're just misdemeanors unless they're in furtherance of or to cover up another crime. So the judge didn't give the jurors that option, probably because the statute of limitations is run on misdemeanors or the parties didn't ask for it. So even if jurors find that the business records are false, they do have to find that other crime. The judge made two rulings with respect to that other crime. First, he gave the jurors three options, which is important. That other crime can be election fraud, it can be campaign finance violations, and both of them have been discussed at length during the trial. But he also said that the other crime can be a tax crime. And that is important because I'm not sure that prosecutors have really proven the election fraud or a campaign finance violation. But everyone knows that writing off something unlawfully is a tax crime.
Got it.
And very importantly, this is something Donald Trump was upset and he actually posted on social media about. The jurors do not have to unanimously agree what that other crime was. That was cover up or further. So some may think it was election fraud, some may think it was a tax crime. But as long as they unanimously agree that the business records were false and there is some other crime, one of those three, that's enough for a guilty verdict.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting that they don't actually have to agree on what that part is. Now, the jurors also asked to hear back some testimony from the Trump Tower meeting that was had, where Michael Cohen was there and David Pecker was there. Why do you think that is?
I think that's important as well. And I really set aside Cohen's testimony because it wasn't the most credible witness. But I think David Pecker was. And there's a reason that prosecutors called Pecker first. You always want to start strong if you're the state and end strong. And Pecker was a co-conspirator and someone that really tied Trump directly to these catch and kill stories. First being the alleged illegitimate child in the doorman of his building, and of course the Karen McDougal affair with the former playmate that was caught on tape, and Stormy Daniels being the last. But Pecker is an important witness. So to the extent that jurors are asking for a readback of his testimony, that leads me to speculate, just a guess, that some jurors have already decided on guilt and they're ready to convict. And they want to use that testimony to convince other jurors who might be undecided or even holdout jurors to try to get them to agree.
Do you think the prosecution has made its case here?
I think they have. I have a question about whether they have proven that other crime. And we have two lawyers on this panel, which is also very rare. Rarely do you have lawyers who are jurors. But here, not only do you have one, you have two. I think those jurors are leading these deliberations, and they're going to review the instructions very carefully, hold the prosecution to that burden. I do believe the business records were false. I don't think that these were legitimate legal payments pursuant to a verbal retainer, but I'm not quite sure the prosecution has proven that additional crime beyond a reasonable doubt. That's what I think the holdup may be here.
Interesting. Nima, good to have you on this, sir. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Thanks for having me, as always.